Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. First I wanted to say sorry for taking so long to make a new video. As you could tell, my original video idea got scrapped, so I'm making a new one. And that new one is a tier list on all the anime I've watched. I just wanted to say Beyblade Metal Fusion, that's going in godly. So starting off with Naruto. In my opinion, Naruto is a great starter anime. It has good fights at the beginning. For example, like the Neji versus Naruto fight, Orochimaru versus Team 7, and like the Naruto versus Sasuke final fight for the first show. Now, I'm covering all of the Naruto separately, if you couldn't tell. Naruto Shippuden, and Boruto. I'm not counting the movies because technically most of them are filler, and technically most of them are either part of Shippuden or the first show. So yeah, I put the first Naruto as good, just because it holds a lot of nostalgia as being my first technical anime. But onto Naruto Shippuden, I'll be honest, the first time I watched it, I did not watch it all the way through, because I got sick of all the fillers, and then I skipped them the second time I watched it, which made it much better and much more enjoyable to watch. It has probably the best fight scenes of the entire show, like of the entire series. I mean, the Pain arc, the 4th grade Ninja War arc, and even like some of the parts like towards the end of the show with like the last. I actually like those fillers, the ones with the dreams. I like the Infinite Tsukuyomi dreams. I found them fun. So I'd say Naruto Shippuden is also good, just right above the original. Next is My Hero Academia. Now, aside from the terrible fan base,
oh hell no, man! What the?
And really awful season 5, it's really good in my opinion. The fights, it has a problem with the fights being really fast, but that's intentional because it's really fast paced. Now, however, the story is actually really good in my opinion. But going back to the fights, I'd say fights like Deku versus Overhaul and the season 2 during the Stain arc, I found that was cool. And Stain arc is so fascinating to me because of how it how Stain almost alludes to the vigilante Deku. So for that, I'm gonna put it at also good. Now, you're gonna see a really consistent thing here because most of the animes I've watched are gonna be good or okay, and maybe even godly. Because if I don't like the anime straight from the beginning, I'm not gonna keep watching it. Now, Boruto. I have so much I want to say about this show that I just can't put all into just this video. Aside from the fillers and the beginning,
What the hell?
I think Boruto is okay. Now, hear me out. Don't click off the video just yet. The fight with Momoshiki during the Chunin exam was awesome in my opinion. During that, it shows Boruto's realization that Naruto actually does see the entire village as his family. He sees that that is his job to do. And especially during the Code arc, I think, like the newest arc in Boruto, that was pretty well animated, and it stuck really well to the manga. It didn't go off the rails like half of the show. Overall, it's pretty decent, especially if you stick to the manga, because the manga starts at the Chunin exams. It doesn't even start where the freaking anime does. So, or just watch the movie. Now, hot take, probably my least favorite on the list. I did not finish High School DxD. I just felt like putting it here to actually have something that I don't really care for. Now, the reason why I don't care for it is many reasons. It got boring. Like, really, like, in season 2 it got boring, and it just, I don't find harems that interesting. It went off the rails really quickly. It was obviously supposed to be a harem, but it was like, we're getting thrown into all this demon stuff, and it's just like all over the place. I just don't find it fun to watch. So for that, I'm going to put it at decent. Hunter x Hunter. We got our first godly. Hunter x Hunter is probably my top 3 of all time. I need to rewatch it soon, actually. There's many reasons I like it. I gotta just say, even the 1998 version, or maybe 1999, whatever it says up on the screen, had good animation. Better than Boruto. I loved especially the 2011 one. I loved the entire thing. A lot of people like to completely crap talk the Hunter exams and the game arc. I find both Greed Island and Hunter exams some of my favorite arcs in the show. I actually don't even like season 3 that much because I feel like Gon and Killua don't fit in well with the spiders that much. It doesn't make sense for them to try and help Kurapika take them down. He may be their friend, but that's his business. It just doesn't feel right to me. Next is Seven Deadly Sins. Now, I loved this show for like the first 3 seasons, and then they just did it so dirty. The last 2 seasons were so poorly animated, and I don't know, it just didn't feel right. I loved the show at first, and then it just went completely off the hill. Like the first few episodes when we meet Bon, and Meliodas and Bon like have that little like, hey, nice to meet you again, let's fight scene. That was awesome. And when they're trying to get Deanne's sacred treasure back, the fight between Bon and Meliodas again was pretty fun. Meeting the side characters along the way, and meeting like King, and the eventual reveal of like Merlin as the witch who was with Arthur. I found that was really fun. So I'll give it an okay. I would rather watch Boruto over the last 2 seasons, but it's good. Now here is also kind of a controversial take. I loved season 1 of One Punch Man, and then it stopped being fun to me because they stopped giving the main character attention, which they do in some of these other shows too. They gave like all the attention to the side characters, like the Hero Association and Genos. I don't care about either of them. Genos constantly gets mollywopped, and the Hero Association is just not fun. So for that, I'm just giving them a decent, especially because I know most of the manga doesn't, like, focuses on them as well. So there's no point in caring really about the actual show itself when the main character isn't the main topic. Now, Death Note. We got another godly. I love Death Note. The dynamic duo, the dynamic rivals, shall we say, Light Yagami and L. I would say they're almost like as much of a dynamic duo, if not a bigger rivalry than Naruto and Sasuke. I don't know, I need to rewatch the show first of all, but it's just so crazy to me how good it is. The whole idea of the Shinigamis and the Death Note being just randomly thrown down because the Shinigami's bored. It's so outlandish, and yet it's so awesome at the same time. Although the last few episodes with Nier and Mello, I didn't find too good. I actually kind of didn't like them. After, spoiler alert, L dies, I kind of stopped liking it as much, but it was still a really good freaking show. On to the next one. Yes, I am counting a movie because I love this movie. A Silent Voice. What a good show. It really is. I love A Silent Voice. Like, it kind of shows off, like, real problems in the world of bullying, and it shows how you need to, like, choose who you pick on really well. You can't just go picking on random people. Especially random deaf people. That's so mean. I'm going deaf. You're gonna do that to... Actually, yes. They will. Most of my friends would. Anyways, in this movie, it's based on a real story, and the endings are different, if I remember correctly. In the movie, Shoya, he saves the deaf girl, Shoko. I believe that's her name. I need to rewatch it. Again, that's kind of the theme with all of these. But he saves her from jumping off a balcony and instead falls, and he breaks his back, I believe, and goes into a comatose for a few months. And then he comes back. While I believe the real life story, the guy died from falling off the balcony, which only makes sense. I just wanted to put this movie here because of how much it, like, honestly, I cried the most at this movie than I have in all these shows. Demon Slayer. These two are really close when it comes to making me cry. Well, at least for the Mugen Train. I love Demon Slayer, and personally I would love to give it God tier, but I have to give it good instead of God tier, because it's, in my opinion, it's such a good show. Great animation, probably some of the best animation I have ever seen. it does not go ungodly because of how rushed it can feel at sometimes. Like in season 1, it's 26 episodes and covers multiple arcs. And now, with how they are doing it now, they're doing one arc per season, and that arc, and like, it feels good it feels good yet weird at the same time. Like Mugen Train as a movie felt nice as an arc, and then they turned it into a show, like a part of the series for those who couldn't watch the movie, I'm assuming. But at the same time, it's like, why don't you just add, like, season 2 should be Mugen Train and Entertainment District, technically, while season 3 would make sense. Well, we don't know yet because season 3 isn't done. It would make sense if season 3 would be Swordsmith Village and Hashira Training. I don't know if that's what it's gonna do, but if that's what they do, then that would actually work pretty well. I gotta say, my favorite fights of all time in Demon Slayer is Rengoku versus Akaza and Tanjiro versus Upper Moon 4, actually. Upper Moon, like the one that's going on right now. I've read the entire manga, so I know what happens in the future. But the fight that's going on right now is pretty fun. I don't want to say any of the future ones. That's just what I'm saying for what's out currently. And here it is, Attack on Titan. Everyone, you gotta expect me to put it in godly. Attack on Titan is such a good show, despite the fact that what I said on, like, One Punch Man, how it splits off from the main character. Like, the way they do it feels so much better than what One Punch Man does. Attack on Titan, like, splits away from the main character, kind of, because he lost basically being the main character. He becomes the main villain, more of. Which is a really interesting concept, because Death Note also, its main character is the main villain. But at the same time, it's like, it works better, in my opinion, because Eren goes down this path where he's slowly descending into darkness. And then, boom, season 4. He is the definition of darkness. Yes, he is a villain, but he is doing it for the sake of saving his friends. Mass genocide to save your friends. Yes, it's messed up, but I would do it for my friends. Just saying. I'm kidding. Now, that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Aside from the long title, it ain't a very long anime. It's got 2 seasons out right now, and it's coming with the 3rd one. The fights are good, but I mean, come on. When the main character literally slaps everyone around like it's nothing, it's kind of like One Punch Man, where it's like, well, it's good, but at the same time, you know, it's like, well, it's too easy for the main character. There's no struggle. Literally in the first, like, I think 3 episodes, he absorbs a dragon. He absorbs the storm dragon, Faldora. I gotta give it good. I wanted to give it godly, but he's too OP. And he's one of the only characters that I would say, like, Rimuru, the main character, is one of the only people I could see coming close to Goku in terms of strength, because what is Goku gonna do if he just absorbs him? Rimuru just eats Goku and is able to do everything he does. I'm just gonna now go through my favorite fight from each show, if I can remember one, and if I haven't already said it. Hunter x Hunter. Gon versus Pito is my favorite in Hunter x Hunter. The reason why is because it just shows how far Gon will go for his friends, and how enraged he is seeing one of his best friends, who he only just met, died. He completely goes berserk mode, and I can't even technically call it a fight, because he just absolutely annihilates Pito. In Attack on Titan, like, the fight between Porco, Eren, and Reiner is probably my favorite of Attack on Titan. Death Note doesn't really have a fight, but my favorite scene from Death Note would definitely be any, like, L and Light getting along scenes, in my opinion, because I just find it really awesome, and I just think, like, in another timeline they could have been best friends. In A Silent Voice, my favorite scene from A Silent Voice has to be, like, when Shoya and Shoko start like actually really acknowledging each other. And it's just overall very interesting to see him learn sign language to talk to her. Naruto Shippuden, my favorite fight in Shippuden would probably be the final fight, Sasuke versus Naruto. It's just so cool to see how well, like how strong they've grown and how mature they've gotten. And in Naruto, my favorite fight has to be, like in actual original Naruto, has to be Naruto versus Haku / like Kakashi versus Zabuza. That very first, like that very second arc. It's so good, and it's a masterpiece of a beginning arc, because in my opinion, that is the first arc of Naruto, because it's his first mission. Now, that doesn't apply to Boruto, since that's his first mission doesn't happen until like episode 40. But in My Hero, my favorite fight in My Hero is definitely Overhaul versus Deku, as mentioned previously, because it's the best animated fight in my opinion. Like season 6 is good, but Overhaul versus Deku is my favorite personally, because of the leading up to it that season 4 had, and then the decline, like not a bad decline, but then like a calm before the storm of the war. That's why I really like it. Demon Slayer, my favorite fight in Demon Slayer I did technically state this earlier, but it's definitely the Rengoku fight, because he was only in our lives for a brief moment, but he definitely impacted everyone, like all of their lives. All he was trying to do was save everyone on that train, and in the end, he was the winner of the fight against Akaza, because he protected everybody there on that train. I don't have a favorite fight in that time I got reincarnated as a slime, because all the fights are good, and all the fights are really quick. So I can't really just say any in particular are my favorite. Meanwhile, in Boruto, I definitely can. In Boruto, my favorite fight has to be Boruto, like influenced by Momoshiki versus Kawaki. So well animated, and it's just like, it's to show what's to come. Although I don't like the fact that they are that they are going on a hiatus for the anime. They really should animate like up to what the manga has, and then take a break like the manga's doing, or like that just makes more sense to me, but who knows. Just don't do any more freaking fillers, okay? Seven Deadly Sins. My favorite fight for Seven Deadly Sins, despite the fact that I don't like the last few seasons, my favorite fight has definitely got to be, I think his name is Droll, and Gloxinia versus Chandler. We get to see two fallen kings become good again. They get to redeem themselves for their crimes by trying to help our main cast. And I just find that so good. I find that so interesting. I always love that. That's why I love Naruto so much, because that happens in that show too. Now, One Punch Man. I don't really like most of the fights in One Punch Man because they're pretty lame, especially when people are attacking Saitama and he's just like, okay. But the Boro versus Saitama is probably my favorite fight of the show, because he's the only one so far in the show, I know what happens in the manga, who's given Saitama not even a real fight, because Saitama doesn't break a sweat or nothing. But he's the only one who Saitama really thought at first maybe would be strong, which that changed pretty quickly. But I find that in that, they went all out on that fight scene, in my opinion. It was really good. But that's it for my anime tier list. I need to send this to my editor. That's not going to be fun because I don't know how to do this. I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll see you whenever I upload my next video.